class, we have learned about coordination in humans and plants. So today we will be learning about excretion in plants and humans. So can anyone define what do you understand by excretion? Okay, so excretion is basically, in simple terms, we can say that removal of waste uh, from our body. So now let's see the system in plants as well as in animals or humans. So today we will be learning excretion in plants and humans. So as we said, removal of waste product from a body, it is called as excretion. So the system that carries out such process, it is called as excretory system. So either plants or animals, many waste substances are produced in various living organisms. So it is very important that these products are removed from our body, because if it accumulates, then what will happen? It can cause death. So in unicellular organisms and in plants, the waste, it is directly eliminated across the cell surface, whereas in multicellular organisms like we humans and animals, this system is quite complex. So firstly we'll learn about the excretion in plants. Now if we see these images, so why do leaves fall off from trees in season? Why flowers and fruits, they fall off after some period of time? We sometimes see that a liquid is being secreted from the bark of the tree or from the surface of the tree leaves. So all these are actually the mode of excretion which is being performed by this plant. So the falling of the leaves, the flowers, the fruit, it is not a complex process, right? It is a simple process. So these plants, they do not have any special organs like how we humans have. So mostly the waste substances of plants, they are either stored in the vacuoles, that is the cells of the leaves or fruits, or even on the bark. And if the waste product is in the form of gas, then it is secreted out through diffusion. So while these three, that is the latex, the gum and the resin, these three are the waste products for plants, but they are actually useful to human beings. So three waste products of plants which are useful to human beings, which is mentioned in your notes, is latex, gums and resins. So this was about the excretion in plants. Now if we see excretion in human beings, so our body performs various functions like catabolism of carbohydrates, fatty acids and amino acids. Besides this, we have various salts, hormones, gases. Such things are called as waste. It is considered as waste if it's eliminated from our body. So whenever our body produces excess of amino acid in liver, it is converted into ammonia. So based on that, the excretory system is divided into three sections, that is ammoniotalism, which means that the organism, it will excrete ammonia. So the example is fish and tadpoles, that is the larva of the frogs. Whereas ureotelism, this, the example is we humans or mammals, even the toads and turtles. So as we can see the name ureotelic, so we secrete urea, we excrete urea, and hence the name. And urea, when it is soluble in water, it forms urine. Lastly, Uricotelism. So the birds, insects, they excrete a thick paste. So this paste consists of uric acid. Even humans, in our waste product, the uric acid is present, but it is present in a very small quantity. If it gets collected in a body, then it can cause disorders like gout. So this was just about the 3 modes of excretion. Now let's learn about our excretory system. So the human excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. So firstly we'll learn about kidney. So these kidneys, they are dark red bean shaped and they are attached in the abdominal cavity. As we know, it is situated near the abdomen and it is on the either side of the vertebral column, and the right kidney is lower than the left kidney. If you must have seen this previous image, the position of the kidney, the right kidney is lower than the left kidney, and each kidney, they have a notch which is called as hilus here. As the blood vessels, the nerves and the ureter, these blood vessels and the ureter, they enter and leave the kidney through this hilus. And nephron, it is the functional unit of the kidney. We'll learn about it later. So approx 10 lakh nephron is present, and the main function of kidney is it maintains balance and it extract the nitrogenous waste product. It regulates the blood composition and also carries out blood filtration, or we can say blood purification. Thus around 400 times the blood is filtered every day, and around 1 to 1.9 liters of urine is formed. So this was about kidney. Now let's see the ureters. As we said that from the hilus, the ureter, it starts, so it is of 2 pairs. So a pair of narrow duct, each it arises from the hilus and it runs up to urinary bladder. If we see, it is connected over here. So it runs up to urinary bladder. So the function it carries is, it carries the urine from the kidney towards the urinary bladder by peristaltic contractions. So a contraction occurs, and by that the urine, it is transferred from kidney towards the urinary bladder. Now if you see the structure of urinary bladder, it is pear shaped. So this urinary bladder, they have presence of thick muscular wall and it lies in the pelvic cavity. So the kidney, it lies in the abdominal cavity, whereas the urinary bladder, it lies in the pelvic cavity. So it stores urine and which is expelled out at interval through urethra. Lastly, urethra, as we have said, the urine, it expels out from here. So in female, the urethra is short, that is around 4 centimeter, and it opens in front at vaginal opening, whereas in male it passes through the penis and it is longer, of size 20 centimeter. So this was about the structure of the excretory system, that is the kidney, pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. So just now we said that nephron is the functional unit. So now let's see the structure of nephron, the most important part. So if you see this image, the cup-like structure, it is the glomerulus. Then the other thing which we have to learn here is the proximal disc tubule, and if you see this U shape, here it's written loop of Henle, and this part, that is the distal convoluted tubule. So the nephron, it is the functional unit of vertebrate kidney, And there are three major variations in nephron structure. First is the glomerulus, that is the separation of glomerulus. Elaboration of loop of Henle. Lastly, the presence of distal convoluted tubule. So firstly, we'll see the separation of glomerulus. So if you have saw that image and if you see this, so it appears as a cup-like structure and it is double walled. So the outer layer, it is called as parietal layer, whereas the inner layer, it is called as the visceral layer. So this cup-like structure is actually known as Bowman's capsule. So the Bowman's capsule, each nephron, they have a cup-like thin walled upper part which is called as Bowman's capsule. In this we have two layers, parietal as well as visceral layer. Now if you see here, we have network of capillaries. So these network of capillaries, they are called as glomerulus. Now if you see, we have two arterioles which are present over here, efferent arteriole and afferent arteriole. So the afferent arteriole, it carries the blood to the glomerulus. If you see the arrow, the blood is coming towards, so it is carrying the blood to the glomerulus. Whereas the efferent, it carries blood away from glomerulus. That is the efferent arteriole, it carries the blood away from glomerulus. And the connection between this glomerulus and the cup-like structure, that is known as Malpighian body. So the intimate connection between glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule is referred as Malpighian body. So this was the first part, that is the separation of glomerulus. Basically the Malpighian body, it consists of glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. Second is elaboration of loop of Henle. So now if we see this image, the tube which you can see, we know that this is the Bowman's capsule. Here is the neck part. So this tube-like structure, this is highly coiled, and here the part which is around the neck, this is called as proximal convoluted tubule, and it forms a U shape. This, it enters the medulla region of the kidney. Medulla region is the below part, cortex is the upper part. Now if you see here, medulla, near the medulla, if you see the structure, so the proximal convoluted tubule, it enters the medulla region and then again it returns to the cortex. So the middle region, this part, this is known as loop of Henle. It is hairpin structure, U-shaped, and it consists of two limbs. The main function of this is to maintain the concentration of urine. Now from the proximal convoluted tubule, again if you see here, it has coiled again. So this is known as distal convoluted tubule, and this, it's in the cortex region. So the PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, it is present near the neck, that is the neck region of Bowman's capsule. Whereas the DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, it is present near the cortex region. So I hope you all have understood the structure of this nephron, the Malpighian tubule. It consists of Bowman and glomerulus. Then we saw this proximal convoluted tubule from the neck. It is in the medulla region. Then it comes out from the cortex region, forms a loop of Henle. Then the distal convoluted tubule, it opens into the collecting duct which is connected towards the ureter. So this was about the structure of nephron. Now we know the function of the organs which are present in the excretory system. We know the parts which are present in the nephron. So lastly, how urine is formed. How the formation of urine occurs. So first of all, why the color of urine is yellow? It's because it has presence of pigment which is called as urochrome. So the urine, it shows presence of almost 95% of water, and we humans, we have presence of organic substance like urea, and also small amount of uric acid as mentioned earlier, and creatinine which is formed in muscles. So this was the constituent of urine, that is the pigment urochrome, 95% water, urea, uric acid and creatinine. So as we know that urea is the main constituent in urine and it is produced by liver, so the urea, it enters the blood. Now this urea containing blood, it gets pushes and it travels towards the glomerulus. Now this urea containing blood, it has entered the glomerulus. As we have learned that these glomerulus, they have capillaries. So the blood, it filters over here and the urea and the other substance, they get separated. Now as the Bowman's capsule, the membrane is semi-permeable. So here what happens is the small molecules, that is the salt and everything, and the water molecule, it just pass through it and it goes through the tubular part, that is the loop of Henle, proximal distal tubule, then the distal convoluted tubule, it just passes through that. After passing through everything, after reabsorption of all the useful substance, the leftover part, that forms the urine. Now this urine, it is carried by the ureter and it is stored in the urinary bladder. So as we know, urinary bladder, it's pear in shape and its bag-like structure. It has presence of muscles, muscular. So it is voluntary. So since it has presence of muscles, we are able to have a control on our urination. And lastly, it results in micturition, or in other words we can say urination. That means the urine, it is finally given out through urethra. So this was the process of formation of urine. So understood till here?
Yes.
Okay. So dialysis. Any idea why do we carry out dialysis? Okay. So we know that the main function of kidney is filtration of blood and it is carried out by kidney. So if in case the kidney malfunction, then it can cause severe harm, as removal of toxic waste is very necessary. So firstly, dialysis, it is derived from Greek word where dia means through and lysis means loosening. So we can call this as an artificial kidney, or we can say that it is an artificial replacement for lost function of kidney. So the nitrogenous waste which is separated from blood by the kidney, since the kidney can't function, it is now being separated using man-made machine. So around 500 ml of blood is sent one time through the machine. So basically we can say that the dialysis, it replaces the function of diffusion. Diffusion means waste removal, whereas it also replaces the function of ultrafiltration, which means fluid removal. So this is all for today. We have completed with our excretion part. So we have learned excretion in plants and humans. In plants, they do not have any special organs. The waste, it is either stored in leaves, barks, and besides this, if we see the falling of leaves, the falling of fruits, the falling of flowers, even this is termed under excretion. Then in human excretion, we saw the parts that is a pair of kidney that is bean shaped. It is two in pair. The right one is lower than the left one. Then we learnt about the pair of ureters. It is two in pair. It is connected towards the urinary bladder. It carries the urine. Then we learnt about urinary bladder, the pear shape, that is they have muscles and hence we can control the urination, and from urinary bladder the urine is passed to urethra from where the urine releases from our body. Besides this, we learned the structure of nephron, the Malpighian body, that is glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. This together forms the Malpighian body. Here we have the neck. From there we have this U-shaped structure, the proximal tubule in the cortex. Then it goes on. Again it coils up. It forms the distal tubule, which is connected towards the collecting tubule, and from there it is passed on to ureter. Lastly, we saw the mechanism of urine, how it actually occurs, how it forms, and dialysis, why it is done. So, the question part. Dash is the functional unit of the kidney. Anyone? So it's nephron. Nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. In adults, the process of urination is under the control, but not in infants, that is the small children. Why is it so? Any idea? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So in adults, the muscles, it is voluntary, while in infants, it is not that mature. Hence, the infants, they can't control their urine, whereas the adults, they can. Then, which of the following is the normal constituent? This is easy, you all can answer. Blood, glucose, urea, or protein? What we humans secrete in urine? So it's urea. Then what will happen if kidneys fail to function? So accumulation of nitrogenous waste in the body, which can be fatal, and hence it can lead to death. Last question is, how can you relate excretory system and cleanliness in your surrounding? Justify cleanliness is next to godliness. Can you relate these two terms, the excretory system of humans and the cleanliness around us? Okay. So, just like how we humans, from our body, the waste is eliminated, it is quite similar to that of how we regularly empty the dustbin in our house. It's not that once in a week this elimination of waste products is occurring from our body. Every day this process occurs. Same way, every day we empty the dustbin. So just like how excretion occur in living organisms, proper disposal of garbage and locality and home also occurs, and hence we can say cleanliness is next to godliness. So the homework for you all is, you have to sketch and label Malpighian body, the structure of nephron and the vertical section of kidney. You have to write how the excretory products of plants are useful to humans. We have just learned the three names. You have to write the uses of it. Besides this, you have to collect information about kidney stones and kidney transplantation. So that's all for today. Thank you.